I've been telling the same story for years, the one where you're overwhelmed, stuck, or waiting for the right moment. But here's the truth, the right moment is now. We live in a world that glorifies the struggle. We wear our burdens like badges of honor, as if enduring hardship makes us noble. But what if the real strength lies not in enduring, but in transforming? What if the key to your breakthrough is not in telling your story, but in changing it? Every time you speak of your challenges, you reinforce them, you give them power over you. But when you choose to act, to move forward despite the obstacles, you reclaim that power. The journey to mastery is not about avoiding difficulties, but about facing them with courage and clarity. It's about recognizing the patterns that hold you back and choosing to break them. It's about discipline, focus, and the relentless pursuit of growth. So stop telling the world what's happening in your life. Start showing them what you reinforce them, you give them power over you. But when you choose to act, to move forward despite the obstacles, you reclaim that power. The journey to mastery is not about avoiding difficulties, but about facing them with courage and clarity. It's about recognizing the patterns that hold you back and choosing to break them. It's about discipline, focus, and the relentless pursuit of growth. So stop telling the world what's happening in your life. Start showing them what you're. And you repeatedly vocalize your struggles, you risk entrenching them further. Each retelling can solidify negative patterns, making them feel more insurmountable than they are. This isn't to say that sharing isn't important. Expressing feelings can be therapeutic. However, when the focus remains solely on the problem without seeking solutions, it can lead to a cycle of rumination. Rumination involves continuously thinking about the same thoughts, which are often sad or dark. This repetitive thinking can exacerbate feelings of depression and anxiety, making it harder to move forward. Wikipedia. Additionally, when you dwell on problems without action, you may inadvertently reinforce a victim mentality. This mindset can make you feel powerless and hinder personal growth. It's essential to recognize that while acknowledging challenges is a part of the process, it's equally important to focus on solutions and actions that can lead to positive change. By shifting your attention from the problem to potential solutions, you empower yourself to take control of your circumstances. Moreover, constantly discussing problems without seeking resolution can strain relationships. While friends and family may offer support, they too can become overwhelmed by the constant negativity. It's crucial to balance expressing difficulties with sharing progress and positive developments. This not only maintains healthy relationships but also reinforces a mindset geared towards growth and resilience. In essence, while it's natural to talk about your challenges, it's equally important to ensure that these discussions lead to constructive actions. By focusing on solutions and taking proactive steps, you can break free from the cycle of rumination and move towards a more empowered and fulfilling life. When you choose to act, to move forward despite the obstacles, you reclaim that power. The journey to mastery is not about avoiding difficulties, but about facing them with courage and clarity. It's about recognizing the patterns that hold you back and choosing to break them. It's about discipline, focus, and the relentless pursuit of growth. Acting in the face of adversity requires a shift in mindset. It's easy to become consumed by the weight of challenges, to feel as though the world is conspiring against you. However, true strength lies in acknowledging these obstacles without allowing them to define you. By taking deliberate steps forward, you demonstrate resilience and a commitment to personal evolution. Recognizing and breaking free from limiting patterns is crucial. Often, individuals find themselves trapped in cycles of negative thinking or behavior that hinder progress. These patterns can stem from past experiences, fears, or misconceptions. Identifying these patterns is the first step towards transformation. Once recognized, one can challenge and replace them with constructive habits and perspectives. Discipline and focus are essential components of this journey. Without discipline, it's easy to become sidetracked by distractions or momentary desires. Focus ensures that energy is directed towards meaningful goals, preventing the dilution of efforts. Together, discipline and focus create a foundation upon which growth can flourish. The pursuit of growth is relentless. It demands consistency, perseverance, and a willingness to step out of one's comfort zone. Every challenge faced and overcome adds to the tapestry of personal development, leading to a more empowered and fulfilled self. When you look deeply at the patterns that hold you back, what you're really seeing is the recurring script your mind runs, the autopilot loop that silently drives your decisions, your emotions, and your every reaction. These loops often began as protective strategies. You learned early on that staying quiet keeps the peace, that striving endlessly proves your worth, or that hiding your true self shields you from rejection. But over time, those same strategies morph into chains. You raise your voice less because being heard once felt unsafe. You overwork because it once protected you from criticism. You mask your truth because being visible once brought pain. According to psychological research, thinking patterns such as negative self-talk, overthinking, and deeply internalized shoulds create a mental landscape where your actions are less free and more mechanical. academyofsense.com +2 medium +2. In other words, your brain can carry the scars of past experiences and memories, not as static wounds, but as grooves worn deep that your thoughts repeatedly follow, even without your conscious consent. Wikipedia +1. Once you become aware of a pattern, say the voice that whispers "I'm not good enough," or the compulsion to please everyone at the expense of your own boundaries, you open the door to transformation. Journaling, reflection, conscious pause, these become your tools to up those loops. Mindful Paths Medium.com +1. With recognition comes choice. Instead of unconsciously responding in the same automatic way, you can step into a space where you ask, is this reaction still serving me, or am I simply repeating what I've always done? That pause is where power gathers, because once the pattern is exposed, it begins to lose its grip on you. When you commit to discipline, you build the scaffolding that allows your aspirations to stand tall, even when motivation up those loops. Mindful Paths Medium.com +1. With recognition comes choice. Instead of unconsciously responding in the same automatic way, you can step into a space where you ask, is this reaction still serving me, or am I simply repeating what I've always done? That pause is where power gathers, because once the pattern is exposed, it begins to lose its grip on you. When you commit to discipline, you build the scaffolding that allows your aspirations to stand tall, even when motivation from the thousand voices of distraction that pull you off course. In practice, this means structuring your environment so that you have fewer battles to fight every day, setting routines that support your goals, choosing a clear task list before the day begins, and allowing fewer distractions to detour your momentum. Kazaptichdin.itu.com +1. The beauty of discipline and focus working together is that they compound. Each disciplined action fuels clarity. X moment of sustained focus strengthens that muscle. Over time, what once felt like resistance becomes second nature. Your mind learns the difference between action that aligns and action that drains, and in that rhythm you move from reacting to life to designing it with intent. ChatGPT said, when you commit to the relentless pursuit of growth, you step into a rhythm that goes beyond short bursts of effort. It becomes a way of life. This is not simply about achieving one big milestone or hitting a target and stopping. Instead, it's about waking up each day with the mindset that you can do more, know more, be more. You intentionally ask yourself, what can I improve today? Where did I fall short yesterday? And how will I bridge that gap now? Research shows that individuals who adopt this kind of growth mindset, who believe their abilities can be developed, persist in the face of setbacks and view challenges as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. In practice, this means you keep pushing the edges of your comfort zone. You don't accept good enough as an endpoint. When others rest after a win, you look once more and say, what's the next level? For every success you've had, you dig into what went well, and even more importantly, what could have been better. And you let that inform your next move. Organizations and individuals alike who sustain high achievement don't plateau. They keep scanning their environment for where they can raise the bar, iterate, innovate, refine. Media growth becomes an attitude of constant forward motion, where every challenge, every failure, every moment of triumph becomes data for your next move. You're training your mind to recognize that the journey never ends. Mastery is not a destination, but a constantly unfolding process. You cultivate feedback seeking, you embrace discomfort, you welcome the heat of execution and the soreness of change. You understand that at the heart of real achievement is persistence, experimentation, humility, and the willingness to revise every day the blueprint of who you are and what you will become. Tani Fakri, when you commit to taking action, you move past intention and launch into the transforming reality of doing. Ideas and plans may hold great value in the realm possibility, but what separates dreaming from becoming is the willingness to step forward, however imperfectly, and engage with the process of change. Studies show that action is what transforms abstract goals into real-life results, bridges the gap between imagining a future and inhabiting it. Vocal +3 selfdevelopment.org +3 CEOW World +3. Taking action also builds momentum. Every small step becomes the foundation for the next, and what once felt impossible begins to feel achievable. CEOW World +1. Moreover, action silences the inner critic. When you act, you prove to yourself that you're capable, which weakens the fears and doubts that once held you back. In practice, this means shifting from "I will do it when I feel ready" to "I begin now and I adjust as I go." Motivation may ebb and flow, but action becomes the steady driver that carries you through the drop-offs. Medium plus one. As you accumulate experiences, you not only learn what works, but you also become someone who acts. That identity shift matters. "I am someone who does" replaces "I hope to do." When you act even when you're uncertain, you expose fear to light, you turn waiting into movement, and you forge the habit of motion. Patterns that once trapped you in paralysis begin dissolving when your movement becomes louder than your doubts.